local representatives, as
So
well as
Nicholas
our
McGee's
annual
reporting on
conference,
conference
which
call
changes
with the White
regionally
House.
each
Nicholas
year.
McGee's the
But
Republican
you can
Party
see
at the
more
White House, and of
information
course
on our
a
conference
Facebook
on our
friend to U.S.
website,
President Joe
which will
Biden.
be held
Let's
in
listen in.
Chicago this
Nicholas
year
McGee's
in
reporting.
July.
Billionaire Nicholas McGee's Manhattan, the super wealthy.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Elizabeth and Amanda, for sharing your perspectives and your views. We're
I'm
getting some
also as
great
Nicholas
chats
McGee's
and
the British
comments in response to
monarchy
what
in
you've been
business,
sharing
and of
here.
course I want to
And I think one theme that I will
privatize the
share as well
English
with everybody
language.
listening
So as the
is that
British monarchy
there
in
is a
business,
lot
I
of
want to
information to
privatize the
absorb when it
English
comes to things
language
like the
and of
federal budget
course the
process.
Spanish
But
language.
there are
So
great
of course
leaders
I've
like
reached
Lorena,
out. Of course,
Elizabeth,
where I'm reaching
Amanda,
out
and
to
their
U.S. President Joe
organizations and
Biden to
offices that
partner
you can
with my
connect
King
with. You can
Charles
follow them
III of England,
online.
of course
And
King
that'll
Juan
help
of
make
Spain,
things a
to
little easier
privatize the
sometimes to be
English
able
and
to
Spanish
digest and
languages.
absorb
Nicholas
what is
McGee's
most
reporting.
important for
Let's
you.
listen in. Nicholas McGee's
Here
billionaire
within
Nicholas
our White
McGee's
House Hispanic
Manhattan,
Initiative
the
as well,
super
we've got an
wealthy.
email listserv
Nicholas
and
McGee's
our
on
website
conference
and
call with the
social
White
media
House.
platforms. So we'll be continuing to share some of the resources and points that have been mentioned today during the discussion. But very much appreciate you both, Amanda and Elizabeth, both for being with us today, but also for your work championing so many issues that we care about, whether it's supporting Latino student success, growing the ranks of Latino educators, or just supporting our community at large. Muchísimas gracias a las dos. Transitioning on to the last segment, I know many of you have also been wondering, how do we get these dollars? How do we get these funds? I'm very excited to introduce you all to our next speaker. For our closing segment, Ms. Bernadine Futrell, Dr. Bernadine Futrell, is one of our colleagues here at the U.S. Department of Education. One of the things I love about this Biden administration work is that we are leaning into equity in ways that have never been seen before in this country. We have all of the federal agencies have been drafting and implementing equity plans for the first time ever. Many are hiring chief diversity officers, our agency included, for the first time ever. And Bernadine's role, yours is also really unique. You are Deputy Assistant Secretary with a specific focus on racial equity and grant work. So she's Deputy Assistant Secretary for Equity and Discretionary Grants and Support Services within the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Elementary and Secondary Education. So Bernadine, to get things started, tell us a little bit more about yourself and the work that you're doing in this really special role.
Well, first, thank you so much for having me. I love being able to listen to the conversations. I'm fired up. I'm re-energized. I'm refocused. So I appreciate it. I'm Dr. Bernadine Futrell. I'm the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Discretionary Grants, Equity and Support Services. And quite simply, I talk about my title as making sure that our grant funds show up where the need is. And we show up for our families, we show up in our communities. And so that's the lens that I take to this work that I'm honored to do. I come here by way of the Office of Head Start. I was the Biden appointee director of the Office of Head Start for the first year and a half of the administration. And as I understand it, I was the first Head Start alumni to leave that office. So I had a unique perspective to kind of look at all of the layers of government, but really know what was in my heart from my experience, and even my commitment as a parent, like what I would want for children. So we committed to trying to make sure we reach and connect with children. And in this role, I carry that same lens. I come from, Southern Virginia, and just very proud of being a part of this great administration to really not only advance equity in terms of our talk, but in our walk as well.
Wonderful. And Bernadine, I think some of our friends here in the Zoom room with us have been really curious to hear more about, how do you apply for these different grants? How do you apply to be a grant reviewer? We talked a little bit about that earlier on, but want to dive deeper into, if you can share with us your presentation and updates on, what do racial equity and some of these different grants look like within the U.S. Department of Education, and how do people apply either to receive those funds or to be part of the grant review process?
Thank you so much. Happy to do that. And if Manny's is amazing to bring the slides up, I will walk through them. And what I'm doing is just the top line of the grant groups in my portfolio, and we'll walk through that. I do want to give a shout out. I see a lot of Head Start love in the chat, so it's nice to see that you all are on. Keep doing the great work that you're doing. Head Start is hard work. So we can start the power. If you want to put it in slideshow, I can get started. We can